Alright, so my name is Jesse Tierno, and I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about Bhutan today. Just a brief introduction. A trip to Bhutan. We'll be telling you about the trip to Bhutan with itinerary and some hotels, some foods of Bhutan, and a few social, economic, and political issues of Bhutan. Just to give you guys some more introduction, Bhutan is also called the Kingdom of Bhutan. The population is 797,765 as of 2016. It is neighbored by India and China, located in Southeast Asia, and the primary language is Dzongkha. Just another picture showing you of Bhutan, how we have India on the underside and China on the upper side, covering and surrounding it. On the trip to Bhutan, you must book your stay through a Bhutanese tour operator or an international partner. And through Dirk Asia, a 7-day trip and tour will cost $1,789 US for an all-inclusive trip, aside from flight and alcohol. Now with the flight, I was unable to get the flight quote because you have to actually have serious talks with the Bhutanese tour operator to get the flight directly in to Bhutan. So what I did is I just took a round-trip cost to Nepal, which is very close to Bhutan, and that cost $1,124.31 through May 14th to May 20th. On a 7-day itinerary tour trip, day 1 will consist of the arrival in Peru, or Paro, Bhutan, and the tour starts as they take you to the Buddha Point to see the 169-foot tall bronze statue of Buddha. After the return from Buddha Point, dinner will be served, and the tourist is free to wander the shops and bars. And this is just a picture showing Buddha Point. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this on the camera, but if you just want to Google it, it's pretty cool. Day 2 consists of visiting National Folk Heritage Museum, and this museum preserves Bhutanese folk arts with relics and artifacts inside. And this is just a picture showing you guys what the museum looks like itself. Day 2, also in Day 2, you'll be doing a visit to the National Textile Museum, which is a picture down here, and it shows the bright colored and nicely designed fabrics worn by the people of Bhutan. During this day, you will also be visiting the Modathang Takin Preserve, which has a number of takins, a wild moose-looking creature, and they say this creature looks like a moose stung by a bee. In Day 3, the tour moves on to Punakha, the former capital of Bhutan, which the capital now is Thimphu, with a stop at Dachala Pass, showing a 360-degree view of the Himalayas. And this picture is showing you the 360 view of it, but you can't really see because it's only a picture. But there are also 108 Druk Wangyal Courtins built for the Bhutanese soldiers killed in the 2003 battle against the Assamese. In Day 3 as well, the tour takes us on a trip to what they call the most beautiful scene in Bhutan, called Punakha Zang. Built in 1637, this building stands 3,900 feet tall, with a house preserving the Namgyal, the father of unified Bhutan. And this is a picture showing the place I just mentioned, and the forked river is what they really emphasize because it's got really blue water and it's a very nice area with mountains around it as well. In Day 4, you go to the Paro Valley. The tour will show you Khuchu Lukang, which is the oldest temple in Bhutan, built by the Tibetan king Songtsen Gampo to pin down an ogress, which an ogress is a female ogre that was obstructing Buddhism and the progression of Buddhism. In Day 5, it's going to be a sightseeing day on a drive the Ha Valley and the Kala Pass. The Kala Pass is at 988 meters high and is the highest road pass in Bhutan. It snakes up through the forest, and having a picnic is suggested as it is very, very scenic. And you can see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but snaking up and up and up. And you have another picture here showing the scene. Day 6 consists of a hike to Taksang Monastery, also called the Tiger's Nest. It is decorated with flags to protect from evil spirits, and the monastery was built over where Guru Padmasambhava meditated for 3 years. Also on day 6, the final activity will be to visit the ruins of Drukgyal Dzong and Paro. Built in 1647 by Namgyal, was used to defend against invading Tibetan forces. A fire in 1951 destroyed it, but is left to signify victories. And day 7 consists of the departure from Bhutan back home. Just to give you an idea of the hotels you'll be staying in that 7-day trip, there are three-star hotels provided all nights of the trip. Hotels such as the Hotel Lebeso, which is this one here, and the Tenzingling Resort are available to stay, and the Tenzingling Resort is right here. And it's available and is paid for by you and is inclusive in the trip. Just some foods that I researched that you should try or I should try on our trip. It would be the imadachi, which is chilies and cheese. It's just a mixture of the chilies and cheese, and you can see a picture here. It's just that there. The jasha maru is a different dish, and it's in our language what you call it spicy chicken. It's got chilies, onions, tomato, garlic, coriander leaves, and chicken, and you can see here. Another food that you could try, that I would like to try, would be momos, which is also called dumplings. And it's minced meat, cheese, vegetables, Bhutanese chili sauce, which is also called izay. And you can see the picture here of the dumplings, which I'm sure most of us are familiar with. Gando dachi is another Bhutanese dish. It's basically like a jacked up scrambled egg. So it's butter, egg fry, dattashi cheese, butter, and dried chili. And you can see the bowl here. Just some social, political, economic issues despite gross national happiness, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a little bit here. There's a high suicide rates in South Asia and Bhutan, so it's a big issue there. And we have literacy rate, which is very low in this country, and alcohol abuse. So just to give you an idea before I go into the suicide rates, gross national happiness is a philosophy determined that happiness was considered more important than gross domestic product, coined by the former king of Bhutan, and his name was King Wangchuck. It influences economic and governmental decisions. Happiness of the country's individuals are a priority to Bhutan as a whole, the population. And it sort of, in a way, masks the problems of Bhutan's identity. And measuring success based off individuals' happiness instead of making actual political decisions could hurt the country in a way. So, about the suicide rates in Bhutan. Southeast Asian countries have been struggling lately with the increasing rates of suicide, as we discussed in the discussion board earlier. Bhutan has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. Suicide rate is still rising despite the implementation of suicide prevention plans. The average annual growth rate of suicide in Bhutan is 9.4%, and that's every year it's rising that much. Currently, Bhutan has the 5th highest suicide rate in the Asian Pacific region, according to the World Health Organization. Some causes of this suicide rate being so high is loneliness, alcohol, extramarital affairs, lack of mental health support, and economic issues. Some of the youth suicide causes include the academic pressure, unemployment, low self-esteem, and family financial problems. So you can see that the economic standpoint is a big reason for their rates being so high. To go more in depth about the suicide rate, farmers are a majority of the unhappy 9% of people in Bhutan, according to the Gross National Happiness Survey in 2015. And 34 of the 92 suicides in 2016 were farmers, so you can see that's over 30% of the people who committed suicide that year were farmers. Farmers are becoming financially unstable, causing their unhappiness and the willing to take their lives, which is sad. Bhutan is developing more and more, causing industry to account for 44% GDP in 2011. Farming accounted for 26% of the GDP in 2002, but went down to 16% in 2011. So you can see farming is going down as industry is going up. Some alcohol abuse in Bhutan. Alcohol has always been a part of Bhutanese culture, and rituals, occasions, and religion. And lots of families even brew their own rice-based liquor. Alcoholism is rising in the country of Bhutan and is a big killer of Bhutanese people. In 2011, approximately 7% of car accidents in Bhutan were from drunk driving, and that's a huge number. Doctors state that 30% of deaths in all hospital wards are due to alcoholism, and that's astonishing. So you can see how big alcohol abuse is in Bhutan. Alcohol liver disease is increasing as alcohol is served to any age, so it doesn't even matter what age you are, they'll give you whatever you ask for, I guess, whenever you're in a bar or so. Literacy rate and education, which is another issue in Bhutan. It is, originally, Bhutan's education was monastic until the 1950s, which is like a monastery, you know, they teach about religion and whatnot, with monks and all. King Wangchuck opened the first secular schools, then later the third king, Dorji Wangchuck, introduced English as this learning basis to communicate with countries, which allowed students to study around the world. So learning English was pretty important for other students in Bhutan to go elsewhere to study and get their education. The government asked Canadian Jesuit Father William Mackey to come and set up a good school system in the 60s and 70s. And what he did is he built 180 schools and brought a bunch of teachers in which he brought from India, originally from Canada. The literacy rate in education, although these schools were built, a small percentage of school-aged children actually attend. So these schools are all built, but only a small percentage actually attend. The adult literacy rate is only at 47%. So more than half of people do not have literacy, and it's one of the lowest in Asia. With the development of Bhutan and slowly diminishing agricultural economy, education and literacy is key. So industry is going up. You need to learn about things such as business and whatnot instead of just the farmers and agricultural ways. Without the children getting the education they need, it will be hard for them to get a job. Later may become unhappy, which leads to the higher suicide rate and unhappiness. So everything's kind of tying together in these problems. And that's really it. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you liked my presentation, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.